大家好，歡迎大家收睇《週一長談》呢個節目，我哋節目主持人姚永安。今日同大家討論嘅話題咧就係毒品，因為好多時咧毒品咧就好多華人都覺得，即係點解我哋國家咧搞到越嚟越離譜，咁多問題，又話大麻合法化，又話呢個安全注射屋，咁啊好多人都覺得就係話其實係咪好似學中國啊或者新加坡咁樣，全部禁晒佢、拉晒佢就可以搞掂嘅咧？咁啊，所以我哋今日咧就想同大家探討呢個問題，尤其是點解我哋會有咁多所謂 drug overdose， 即係因為服用嗰啲過量毒品而致死嘅一啲事情發生。咁而我哋請位啲專家咧，就係我哋一位華人嘅朋友，就係 Kerry Jang。你好 ，Kerry。
Hi，how are you？
OK， 嗱咁啊 ，Kerry 咧，大家所熟悉你咧就係呢個溫哥華嘅市議員啦。咁其實咧就我哋所知咧，原來你亦都係一個專門研究毒品嘅專家嚟嘅。
Well, actually, what I do is I'm a professor of psychiatry at UBC, and for the last 10 years, I've been actually working in drug policy and drug research. So I've been doing a lot of research, for example, on what causes addiction, like the genetic causes and environmental causes. And more recently, I've been doing a lot of drug policy research, talking about and understanding ways in which we can deliver better health care to help people with addiction issues.
咁就你係一個華人啦，咁所以你就明白咧，我哋華人好多時對毒品問題嘅睇法。咁另一方面，你亦都係一位即係西方醫學嘅研究毒品嘅專家，咁你就好明顯又從醫學角度去同你講㗎。咁而家我哋呢個所謂毒品過量致死嘅事情，究竟係點樣嚟，同埋有幾嚴重咧？
So this is probably the worst public health emergency we've ever had in the history of our province. We've had over 914 deaths across the province due to drug overdoses. In the city of Vancouver alone, we've had over 215 in the last year. Our firefighters and police respond to over 1,000 overdose calls per month. And it's so bad right now that the province had to declare a health emergency, and it's the very first one in our province's history. We've had SARS, we've had other issues in which we've had, some issues about people getting sick with the flu or something. But this is the first time we've ever seen so many deaths. I was understanding that even the morgue, where we put the dead bodies, was full from so many people overdosing. It's just unprecedented. In the history of Canada, we've never seen this before. And the closest we came was in the 1990s in Vancouver, when we had really strong heroin on the street. But other than that, this is the worst I've seen in my 20 years of being at UBC, for example.
嗱，我哋好多時俾人嘅印象咧，就係話通常毒品吸毒嘅人咧，都係啲無瓜可雞嘅人啦，即係犯法啊、壞嘅人啦。咁但係如果我哋睇翻呢個所謂即係毒品過量致死呢個報告咧，你發覺其實原來大多數即係吸食毒品嘅人都唔係呢啲類別嘅人嚟㗎。咁其實即係今時今日吸毒嘅人係啲咩人嚟嘅咧？
Well, that's what's very interesting about this overdose crisis. In the past, it's very much been focused on the downtown east side and street people shooting up in alleys. But we know from our data, from the police and fire, that people are overdosing across the city. Whether you're rich or poor, it makes no difference. We've had a lot of overdoses happen on houseboats in False Creek, on yachts, in fancy towers in Yaletown. So it really cuts across. Most of the deaths are occurring right now in the downtown east side simply because they have the worst health care. But around the rest of the city, it doesn't matter who you are or where you're from, it touches all stratas. And this is what's particularly frightening. When you look at the provincial maps, it's not just in Vancouver, but we're seeing it occurring in Richmond, we're seeing it occurring in Surrey, all the way up north. So even the smallest community in BC has had overdose deaths. Some of the largest number of deaths has occurred right now in Richmond and in Kamloops. And that's just unprecedented. We've never seen this before.
係啊，咁你其實如果咁講法嘅話咧，就真係即係俾人哋嘅印象好唔一樣咯。即係如果就咁講嘅話，就唔係話真係犯事件啊，而係一般普通人，甚至有錢冇錢又冇嘢做嘅人咧，都係有呢個毒品嘅問題。咁但係個問題就係話點解呢啲人要吸食毒品咧？我相信係咪大家都知道毒品係對身體有害，然佢哋會吸毒嘅咧？
So this has been a fascinating area of research. So for example, one of the biggest causes of addicts across the city and across North America is the fact that many physicians, doctors, had overprescribed painkillers. So when you go to the hospital, for example, and you get surgery, they give you fentanyl to calm you down. And after your surgery, if you're in a lot of pain, they give you morphine to kill the pain. And after the morphine, you get things like codeine or Tylenol 3s, very common drugs. But a lot of people, because they get so much of it in hospital, become addicted. And when they go home or wherever they go after the surgery, they go out looking for more of these drugs. And so this, because they can't get it from their doctors anymore, they go out into the streets. We see a lot of people, for example, the classic broken family syndrome, where somebody's escaping from pain. So they try drugs as an escape. But what we see with most patients today is the fact that they're not taking drugs to get high. Okay, everybody thinks these guys are just partying and having a good time, but they're not getting drugs to get high. They're trying to deal with withdrawal. And so when you're addicted to drugs, say the doctor gave you too much of a prescription medication, and you finish taking it, and then your body says, I want more. You start to sweat. You start to feel pain. You get the shakes. And then soon your entire life is focused on relieving those symptoms because they hurt so much. So you have to turn to street drugs, and they get tied up in this cycle of having to take more drugs. You wouldn't believe how many people are actually working right now in your offices, have children, have a family life, and they're on the opiates right now in order to get them through the day. They're not your classic addict that you see on the downtown east side of the street. They're actually working people. They're probably working in your office right now where they're secretly taking a lot of opiates just to get through the day. Not to get high, but just to make sure they can function. And that's the big story here. It's not just the street addict, but it's actually regular people who are just so caught up with opiates and pain relief that they just need more and more and more.
你呢樣嘢其實就真係我最初睇到呢啲資料嘅時候，我都好震驚嘅，就係話原來即係今時今日咁多人係上癮或者成為咗呢個所謂吸毒者咧，就原來係嚟自我哋嘅醫療制度。咁而即係你頭先所講就係即係 fentanyl 呢樣嘢，大家都聽到好多啦，就係話而家好多人即係吸毒過量致死，就係而家呢隻藥物啦，或者呢種物質啦，或者毒品啊。咁但係原來咧喺我哋嘅醫療體系啊、醫生啊或者醫院咧，都係有用呢啲藥。咁同埋仲有你話講緊嗎啡啊、codeine 啊嗰啲，其實 Tylenol 啊，其實都係有呢個即係鴉片式嘅毒品喺裏邊嘅，不過只係嗰個份量有幾重嘅啫。咁就導致好多人就係即係上咗癮。咁但係個問題就係話咁。點樣可以解決？同埋其實我覺得即係華人亦都有一個根本嘅問題，就係話其實喺西方嚟講咧 ，drugs 呢個字咧就包括埋藥物同埋毒品嘅。咁而我哋唐人咧就講就話毒品就係毒品，藥就係藥，兩樣分開嘅。咁其實兩樣係咪同一樣嘢嚟嘅咧？
Yes, that's true. But in English, and this is the tradition of Western medicine, anything can be good for you or it can be bad for you if it's not used properly. Now, here's a good example. In Germany right now, there is a fentanyl crisis in one city. And they said, why is there a fentanyl crisis? Why is it all of a sudden we have all these people wanting fentanyl and are addicted to fentanyl? And it turns out because the surgeons who were doing knee surgery were overprescribing fentanyl to relieve pain. Now, you get fentanyl to relieve pain, which is a good thing, so it's a medicine, but if you get too much, it becomes a bad thing, and it causes addiction. So, I think the dichotomy in Chinese language between poison and medicine is a bit unrealistic, because really anything could be a poison or anything could be a medicine. It just has to be used correctly. And that's the crux of this entire overdose crisis. It's when the medicines are not used properly. Is when we get addiction and we get the suffering and numbers of deaths that we're seeing on our street today.
嗱，咁我哋其實都已經提過呢個 fentanyl 呢個字，即係好幾次啦。咁而家出邊主要嘅問題都係 fentanyl。究竟 fentanyl 係一樣乜嘢嚟嘅？同埋係咪真係中國嚟嘅咧？
Well, fentanyl is a synthetic opioid, so it's a man-made drug. It was originally used as a tranquilizer for elephants, for example. And why it's here in our drug system today is because it's very easy to make. It's very cheap and very profitable for the drug dealers. It's easy to get fentanyl into the country. It's so powerful you can have it in one little envelope, and that would make you 1,000 doses, because all you need is 3 micrograms, which is the size of a grain of sugar, to get you addicted. That's how strong it is. There's other types of fentanyl, like carfentanil and phenylfentanyl, which are analogs, but they're even more powerful, and that is now arriving into our drug supply in Canada. So not only do we have heroin, that heroin is now laced with fentanyl, carfentanil, phenylfentanyl, which makes it so strong that when the addict or somebody takes it, they go on an overdose right away. And it's just unprecedented. We've seen it. The other issue, too, is that this drug is often mixed locally. So the precursors come from China. We know that it's been tracked to China. They're sending in the chemicals, and the drug dealers are mixing it at home in their basement. but they really don't know how to mix it. And so that's why we see such powerful drugs on the street. They put too much in everything, and that's what's killing addicts. So far, we haven't seen it in the marijuana drug supply yet. We're monitoring that right now, because if that was the case, we'd have thousands of people dying across the province. But right now, it seems to be in heroin, crystal meth, and other common street drugs that are either smoked or injected. And it's so powerful, just the tiniest amount will kill you.
係啊，我亦都聽過啲故事咧，就係話即係有一啲即係救護人員咧，去一啲出事嘅屋企啦。單係佢喺個空氣度聞到少少呢個 fentanyl 咧，就馬上已經係出事㗎啦。咁亦都有人講就話你千祈唔好見到白色嘅粉你走去聞啊，你一聞咧你就會即係出事甚至死都得嘅。咁其實即係你 fentanyl 毒到咁犀利嘅時候，其實即係俾我印象係好似呢個生化武器一樣喎。點解會咁嘅咧？
Well, it is a bioweapon. Actually, that's one of the biggest concerns we've had come from the Canadian government and even the US government, that fentanyl and carfentanyl will be used in terrorist attacks. All we have to see is some of it poured into a water supply. Or in Russia, they actually use it to kill off terrorists in the famous theater. I don't know if you remember that story, which terrorists kept the whole theater full of people hostage. And the Russians tried to knock them out using carfentanyl. They sprayed it into the system. They didn't realize how strong it was, and they killed all the hostages, plus the terrorists at the same time. So that's a big concern. It is something that, I'm glad to say that one of the major producers of fentanyl and carfentanyl, which is China, comes from China, the Chinese government has now said starting March 1st, they will restrict, they've actually made it an illegal drug in China now, so nobody can export it unless they do so, under the radar. Mm-hmm. But what's even more interesting is that, why is people move to fentanyl? Well, if you think about cocaine, it costs $90,000 a kilo. It comes into the country, and of course, it's easily caught by the police, right? Because it's so large. Mm-hmm. Fentanyl, you can bring in a little bag. It only costs $10,000, and you're going to make as much money based on it. So this is why it's so popular in our drug supply now. And they mix it in with the other drugs, like the heroin and whatever, and they tell the addicts, this is stronger, it'll make it better for you, you have to buy less. And so they're trying to build it's all about economics and trying to get people to use more. And for our first responders, this is exactly the problem. When they go into a house or they see somebody, they have to wear protective gear so they don't breathe it in. We are now providing all of our first responders with something called naloxone. Mm-hmm. Naloxone is the antidote for overdose. So the police officer or the firefighter can actually inject themselves or use a nasal spray version in order to overcome those effects. Mm-hmm. Currently, when somebody overdoses, we give them the naloxone, but the drugs are so strong, it takes up to sometimes 3 to 6 doses of the antidote to actually bring them back to life. And what we've seen, for example, at St. Paul's Hospital and other places, are people after so many doses of naloxone, they get overdose, revive, that they eventually wake up brain dead. And they're pretty much dead. And we're seeing that over and over and over again now because it's so strong and so powerful.
OK， 好啦，咁呢一節咧就講到呢一度，咁當然下一節咧就仍然係有好多問題要問下 Kerry 嘅，尤其是如果係咁嘅話，即係我哋有啲咩辦法可以解救或者處理呢個問題咧？咁係咪全世界都解決唔到呢個問題咧？咁就下一節翻嚟咧，仲繼續同大家討論呢個毒品嘅問題。